Ahoy friends, welcome to Dory Dan's Small Boat Adventures. Today we're out in the shop. We've got a big project going on, but it isn't anything to do with the Alpha Dory. We're working on a modification slash recut of a racing rig into the ultimate cruising, dinghy cruising rig. So what we're going to be doing is converting this Bermuda type sail into a gaff rigger, thereby shortening the spars and lightening the load on lifting the mast. Also, it should make the boat slightly more seaworthy because we're going to be lowering the rig and losing looks like maybe 45 square feet out of the head of the sail. So I'm here with Bill, the owner of the vessel, who's helping me with some of the modifications. And right now he's just cutting some plugs to fill the hardware holes in the mast where we're relocating hardware. So, yeah, these are previous...
Still have to be trimmed off and sanded.
These are previous spots where the hardware was, and then, you know, like he says, we're going to cut these flush, sand them, and then varnish right over them, so as to seal the mast against any water getting into it in the future. But you can see the amount that we're lowering the rig. Here's the new location for the same chain plates. And then the spar, the gaff spar, is going to go up, lift the sail from here. And so by doing this, we're able to cut about 5 feet off the base of the mast and lighten it significantly in doing so. Also probably make it quite a bit easier to put the mast up.
Because I'm getting old.
Uh-oh. Hey, Bill.
Hey, more dollars for plugging holes.
Nice. Alright, so I just had the table saw going. And this is the piece of wood that we've cut to make the spar from. And yeah, it's a pretty simple spar, just 8 feet. It's going to have to hold the weight of the head of the sail, which basically holds the sail. So you know, it's got to have sufficient strength for that. But other than that, we're trying to keep it as light as possible. Yeah, let's run this through the planer, and then we can start shaping it. Yeah, so this really is sort of an ideal dinghy cruising type project. Because what we're doing is taking a boat that was designed as a go-fast boat, you know, a racing type speedster, and kind of toning it down a bit so that it'll have more capabilities as far as distance cruising and ease of handling. Yeah, so next thing we'll do is I've got the spar here. I'm going to trim the spar to shape, and what I want to do is taper the ends, taper especially the peak, which is going to be the top of the sail, to get that as light as possible while keeping it strong enough that it won't snap. But yeah, and then I'll taper the throat a little bit just to lighten it up, but you know, not as critical there. I'm picking up Coward. Do you need anything? Sounds great. Okay, now I'm striking the taper on the sides of the gaff spar. And so this will thin it out. In the vertical. You can see we've already tapered it front to back. Now we're thinning the sides and keeping an eye to make sure that it's we got a nice straight piece of wood to start with, so but just kind of keeping an eye on that, make sure it stays straight as we're doing so. This I won't need to, I don't think I'll need to taper a lot. The jaws and the throat end because we're looking for some strength in this thing. I'm just trying to lighten the top end of the spar here. So we'll put that on the table saw, make those cuts, and then go to the plane. Alright, before we spend any more time on this piece of wood, let's just have a final look at it on the sail, make sure it's going to do what we want it to do. Yeah, so we'll be here. Here's the grommet. Now I suppose we could put in another grommet, like a throat halyard grommet, and go a little lower with the spar. That's an option too. We're going to be putting in grommets anyway. But I was just kind of going on this one here. You got plenty of wood to play with, so that's not an issue. Yeah, looks good. So next is to clean that up with the plane. You can see this is the existing boom, which won't be changing. And that'll be the shape of the new sail.
Alright, I guess Dan already filled you in on what we're doing. We're cutting the mast down a bit. I'm 70 years old and I can't lift a 22-foot mast and step it like I used to. So he came up with the idea of putting in a gap, shortening the mast, making it lighter, and then putting a gap in. So that's what we're about. The Peggy Bliss just sails like a dream, and yeah, we've headed up to Maine. We've headed to the wooden boat school up in Maine, in Brooklyn, Maine, and you might want to cut that out, Dan. And we've I've sailed it all around local waters, putting it in wherever. I don't need a lot of water. It has a centerboard, and it only draws a few inches of water, except for the centerboard, you know. So, and it rows real nice. So when there's no wind, I can just row away. It's got a fixed rudder and a keel, so that makes it really responsive, and it's just really easy to handle and a lot of fun. I mean, when there's a brisk breeze, we just plane, like skip right over the waves, and Danny and I have done that a few times. You do need a second person when there's a lot of wind, because you know, there is no centerboard. But other than that, she's usually very stable, and because she's wide and shallow, and a lot of fun because she's wet too. she's like a sailboard on steroids. You know, she's 18 feet long, and yeah, just a lot of fun. It was a design that Danny came up with one day when we were talking about what kind of boat he was going to build for me, and it's been a pleasure. It's the only one he built, though. So we went to boat shows. We went to Rhode Island to the boat show. We went to Maine to the boat show, and but haven't been able to get any interest in it for some reason, and I have no idea why. Because she's a sweet, fun boat. But right now we're just, I plugged all the holes from the old rigging, and Danny has reset some of the fittings, and he's just taking everything off, because right now we're going to put a coat of varnish on it, and I'm just roughing it up a bit so that when that happens, the varnish stays where it's put. But yeah. Love working wood. Love working on boats.
Alright, so now I'm going to start in. This is the gaff spar. So basically I'm smoothing the sides of it, and then we're going to put a similar round on this spar as is on the mast. Since I built this boat, the router that I used to route this mast has been destroyed by a third party that borrowed it, so that'll teach you to lend out tools, huh? I'm going to move the vise here. Yeah, the shop is definitely filled up since I got Greta out. Greta is actually right now out in the side yard on a trailer, getting ready to go to the Gloucester schooner races. So that should be exciting. We'll be down there and hopefully get some videos up this coming week of the schooners racing and some of the bigger boats out there, and yeah, should be good. seeing as I haven't got a bunch of sailing in yet this year. I'm looking forward to it. The other thing that we got going on is, you may remember from previous videos in the Alpha Dory series, John Emmett, the sailmaker, who's down at Burnham's Loft. We're hoping to get him the sail for this boat sometime soon so that he can make the necessary modifications to turn it into that gaff rig that we're going for. Yeah. As I move a tiny bit of Turks in here, wiping it down will probably be sufficient, yeah. Oh. But then again, that wouldn't be why all my varnish jobs don't end up on the covers of wooden boat. So
You gotta keep that in mind at all times.
yeah. So I usually dust it off and polish it enough.
This mask going on was on the cover?
I don't think so, not yet, no. They do now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Wooden Boat magazines.
They did a very nice article on it. Took it out for sale.
Yeah.
I was away on a business trip at the time.
Oh no, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's why you weren't
That's
there.
why I wasn't there.
Oh my gosh. The things that people miss on business
Yeah,
trips,
what
huh? Hold your tongue. Oh man.
It was a good job.
Yeah. Right. Ugh.
But I'm retired now, so I can spend my time messing with boats. So.
Oh my gosh.
So you're working on the gaff here? No?
This is the gaff spar.
Is that spruce too?
Yeah. Yeah, not quite as nice material as the mast is made out of, but I managed to work around most of the knots in it, so it should be good. Cleaning it up out of the saw now. And hoping to maybe get some varnish on this thing as well when we're trying to varnish the mast tonight.
it down if you want.
Okay. Alright.
I'm gonna try to sand these things down.
It's probably not worth it because it's still wet.
Yeah, it's got a bit of
Yeah, once everything hardens up, it's going to be like a day or so. I should have thought of that, like, because we could have used a 5-minute epoxy, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But whatever. I wasn't thinking we were going to try and varnish it at that point.
Well, we kind of made that decision at the end here.
Yeah, we've been playing it by ear. Yeah. So I'll do the corners and then we'll be ready for a coat on the spar as well. I'd like to try and get some of the holes in it for the yeah, you can hear each one of those little tiny knot holes as I hit it.
I'll point you to the varnish and I'll start painting, or do you want me to wait?
Okay, yeah, if you think you're ready to go, ready to roll, sure.
That's good.
Alright,
So it's cut those.
alright. There we go. No, not that stuff. There it is. Is that a vehicle? You're a rumbling noise.
Sounds like an army helicopter.
Oh wow, okay. There we go. Should do, yeah. And yeah, just put it on as thin as you can. As thin as you can without getting it actually wet. You know, so. Alright. And you can just go around the, try not to get any glue in the varnish can, so just like go around the glue.
Ready for the use on it?
We've got all so good. Should be good. Alright. So this is a little bit different than the spar making we did for the Alpha Dory, because the Alpha Dory had pretty much round spars, whereas this boat has very similar to a town class sailboat, has rectangular spars. So we're kind of staying in that same theme with the gaff. We're going rectangular, we're not going with a round gaff. So I'm just basically breaking the edges here with the plane, and then I'll go back over that with sandpaper to smooth everything out. Alright, so you get the picture. Do that on 2 more sides, and then I'll bring you back for the next step. So here we are with the finish shaping, and you can see the spars coming right along, and maybe next video we'll have a shot of the finished spar and putting some hardware on it, hopefully. Thanks for stopping by Lapstrake Dory Shed. Yeah, massive thank you to everyone who's liked, subscribed, and supported the channel. And look forward to seeing everybody next episode and out on the water real soon. Bye.